Hey everybody, Professor Kim here to share with you a really cool print and play and roll and write. This game, Okol Invasion, is coming to Kickstarter really soon, and that's why I'm making this video, is to support a Mexican designer and gamification expert. His name is Ricardo DeZib, and I love supporting educators across the world, no matter what their specialty is, what their field of expertise is. Now, I'm in English and Communication and Humanities, and Ricardo is with math. And so this is really going to focus on math, but let me tell you, it's a really fun just game in and of itself, because there's some great mechanics here, and you've got to really work out logic, probability, and of course, you have to do some fast math. So be ready for that. Let's jump into what this game does, looks like, and all you need to do to print and play this game. There's a central board that you will just print and place out in front of you. You can make it larger. I have another copy here that's just a little bit smaller. There's going to be a couple different sizes and different maps available so that when you play, you don't always play with the exact same map. Now, the other thing you're going to see here is that there are all these different locations, and there are groupings of locations. Those regions are going to come into play at the very end when there is a region bonus. There are some spots that start with some numbers that the players will place in with a neutral color. That's why those 67 for A and B for 28 is a black pen. But I'm going to be playing over here with the orange pen. This is my stack of cards that has 1 to 10 on the card. And then these are 10 cards over here for my opponent who's playing with purple. And you are going to, as the very first player, you're going to keep track of the rounds up here. There are 16 rounds. The start player, I'm going to start, is going to roll the die, and it says 7. It's a 10-sided die. That's what you need to bring to the game, are some dry erase markers and a 10-sider. So I roll a 7. I am going to look at my cards. I get 2 cards in my hand at any given time. At the end of my turn, when I play 1, I'll replace it. So I've got these 2 cards right here, and you want to look up in the corner. This is my number 4, and this is my number 7. What I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply the 7 times 7, or the 7 times the 4, and that's going to be the number that I write down into any one of these sections at the leftmost space. So I have either 7 times 7, 49, or 7 times 4, 28. So I'm going to put my cards up here for now just to look at them and get them out of my hands. Now, where am I going to go on this map? Well, there are some places that only ask for odd numbers. This one asks for even numbers. And then you'll see that there are greater than, less than, and equal to signs that are kind of all over the place. Now, what am I actually trying to do here? I'm trying to fill in a whole section that points to a land with the majority of my color pen, not my opponent's. And if I do so, I will receive the amount of lightning bolts or electricity. That's going to be the energy that is going to score up for victory points. I want the most of these guys. Now this one, you say, wow, that's got 7. That's huge. No other place has 7. That's really, really hard to get. This equals that number, and those numbers have to be exactly the same. That's super, super hard. But I could start here and maybe put one number in thinking I could get a good multiplier again that could reach 28. What other multipliers reach 28? If I roll a 4 and I have my 7 this next time, maybe that could do it. But you have to do some probability of what would likely be a good number to place into these areas. So this one needs to start smaller and go bigger. Same here. This number needs to be bigger and go smaller yet again. That's the idea. So I'm going to just pick one of these and I'm going to go with it. I think what I want to do is, I can't do 28 here because that's an equals to. But 28 plus something is greater than 50. That's cool. Maybe I should start there. I'm going to put in my, let's put in my 7. I'm going to put 49 right there. And you can see that I'm starting that space. Now, if I can fill this space in, I'm going to be able to get those 3 lightning bolts. Now, Lewis could put in any number. Lewis is always my other foe opponent. And he could essentially push, where he would say, no, 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 I don't want you to have 3. I want to put a number in there and make that not all just yours, but it's a choice. I'm essentially putting the pressure on him. So I'm going to discard this card up here, keep this one, and then draw a new one. This is my hand, so I'm going to keep those cards right over here. Now that was my turn. I rolled the die. Lewis is going to have his 2 cards. Let's draw his. He got a 3 and a 5, and now he has to use the same 7. I'm the start player. I rolled the die, but the die is for both of us. So let's put his cards up here, and we're going to take a look at that. So I have 7 times 3. What's that? 21. And then I've got 5 times 7 is 35. So what is he going to do? He wants, again, maybe to go here to block me, but he also might want to start his own thing, whatever his own thing is. I think he wants to go over, oh, what about this? 21, no, 35. Anything multiplied by 5 is probably a good number to put in, or a tens is a good number to put in here. I'm actually going to have him do that. I want him to do his 35 here and use the 7 times the 5. So I'm going to add that here. I'm going to get this, grab a new one. He got a 10 and a 3, and there's his deck for his cards. So he wrote here, hoping he can get another 35. We'll see. Maybe he just needs to get exactly a 5 times 7 again. Okay, so that's it. That's the end of round 1. So I'm going to use this guy, and I'm just going to put a line through that, which shows we did round 1. Now, the very next turn, at the very end of the next turn, we are going to change turn order. Anytime you see the little cycle, it just means the little circle means change turn order. So essentially, one player gets to go first 2 times in a row, another player goes first 2 times in a row, and you keep passing it back and forth like that. So I, as the start player still, am going to roll the die for round 2. I rolled a 4. Okay, so let's take a look at these cards. I got 4 times 4, 16, or 4 times 6, 24. If I finish this up, I can lock in 3 lightning bolts. But if I go here, and I'm gradually growing smaller, with my 4 times 6 is 24, I'm really working towards taking over the majority of this space, which is good, but I like locking in points. So which one am I going to pick? I think I'm going to take the 4 times 6 is 24, and I'm going to stop there, and I'm going to put this in my discard pile. I will draw my second card back up, and now I have 9 and 4 are my next 2 cards. Now, that's complete. Don't worry about it. Just leave it as it is. This is going to count and score at the end of the game after 16 rounds. So let's take a look at Lewis. He's got the 10 and the 3, so he's going to have either 40 or he's going to have 12. Let's see here. I think he wants to start doing something like what I've been doing, which is 67. What's greater than? He can't go greater than, but he could go down here and say, this is, he's going to start big and go small. So I want him to put the 40 here, and that's his 4 times the 10. And now he grabs his new card. There he goes. He got a 2 and a 3. His cards are pretty low. That's okay. That's the end. So I'm going to put another mark right through there. Now we're going to change turn order, and Lewis is going to grab that die, and he's going to roll it, and we're going to start again. Now, there are a couple other things to keep in mind. There are things called special bonuses. These are power cores, and you've probably seen these symbols on the map. There are 3 different symbols. So what a player is going to do is if they fill in the space above where there's a bonus, they are going to receive that bonus in a future turn. And they're only allowed to use 1 bonus per turn, even if they have more than 1 available bonus. So what does this guy do? This guy right here with the die symbol is called core manipulation. This can be activated before playing a card and allows a player to add or decrease 1 or 2 digits to the die. So that means that if you're the start player and you want to add or decrease and you say, I want that 4 to be a 5, you literally change the die and put it on 5, and that means that you get the 5, but so does your opponent. Now, if you're the second player to go in turn order, you change it, but it doesn't apply to the other player. Only that start player essentially affects the other player. That's really good for changing the die to match what you need to multiply with the cards that you have. So that's the die symbol. This symbol up here is a turret installation. This can be activated after multiplying your cards. So you take the die and you take your card and you say, okay, 5 times 2 is 10. You can then increase or decrease 1 to 5 digits of the result. Ooh, so check this out. If I had, well, let's say I had like a 6, right? I had a 6 card and I made that 30. And Lewis had that, he could then add 5 to it by marking through that bonus and say, I got 35 actually. So that's how you start to really get those awesome, fudge moments where you get to really change or modify your multiplier. And then the last symbol is this airstrike, and that allows you to modify after multiplication from 1 to 10 digits. So that's the really, really good one. This one is 1 to 5. And then this guy lets you change the core, which is the die. So there are these really great symbols, the power cores. And then lastly, when you get to the very end, you are going to give bonuses for location rewards. Now, this is what this symbol down here is. So if you are the one who has the most of your color in North and South America, you are going to receive 3 bonus energy. If you're up here in this European region, which is a light green color, you get 2 bonus. Over here in Asia, 2 more bonus. Africa, and then Oceania. So there are bonuses for having the most in the area, and that counts in complete regions. Now you're not allowed to score these unless they're complete for the bonus above it. But then there's that big region bonus. So that's essentially how you score at the end, and it's just 1 point per energy of a region you finished with yours as the majority color, these big bonuses for the area control, and then there's another cool thing called advanced play. Now, you've probably noticed on some of these cards, let me show you these 2 cards, there are symbols at the bottom corner. I was just using the number. That is the straight gameplay. That is just the basic game, and it's really dynamic that way. But there are also things you can do to modify your hand, and these cards sometimes have those, sometimes they don't. So here are the examples of all my cards that have that symbol. So I've got these down here. I can use a card, I can activate a card. Now we wonder, why can't we just activate all the cards all the time? Well, at the end of the game, you are going to lose points. If you use 3 skill activations, you'll lose 1 point at the end of the game. If you use 5, you'll lose 2, 7, you'll lose 3, and if you use 10 or more, you'll lose 5 points at the end of the game. So you need to make sure you use them carefully, but also know that they're there for you to play with in the advanced mode. So this advanced play with the actions at the bottom of your card add yet another element that changes this game and makes it even more strategic. So I think there's a whole lot of wonderful logic, probability, and just straight up math. Like, you just have to do a lot of multiplication. You have to do a lot of adding. You have to make sure that you're putting everything in the right space, whether it's odds or even numbers, whether it's going greater than or less than or equal to. There's some great fun stuff here. And I love the theme. And I have to tell you, the artwork is just stunning. I just think it's wonderful. It's fun. It's colorful. It's so engaging. I just can't say enough good things about the artist for this game. And I think there's just some lovely elements of academic, intellectual stimulation with Okol Invasion. So thank you for staying tuned to this overview, the quick run through, and the just explanation of how to play this game. It's super easy to just download and print. And I like to do dry erase or wet erase boards, so I cover this with that transparency. And I also sleeve my cards because I like keeping everything intact. But this is it. It's just your cards. And it is this map. And you have to provide the 2 different colored markers so that you can actually play together. And if you don't have dry erase, just print it out and play it there. You can also print the gray, the black and white version. You don't have to have color. I love the color though. I think it pops. And then of course you have to have your D10. So that's it. Thank you for joining me, and I hope you check it out on Kickstarter because, yet again, I just love supporting those educators who are out there doing things and really trying to make just academics and school fun, because it can be, and games make education fun. Okay? I'll see you later, guys. Bye.